Welcome back, friends. Last Guy Friend. It's time for more The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Kind of an epilogue kind of thing. We're doing all the side chapter things we didn't do before. That's in the special content. I have been sick for a month. Like, the time between the last episode and this episode will not be a month. But for me, recording it, it was a month. So, I don't know how these voices are going to be, the escapades. But we've done Escapade 1 and 2. We're now going to do Escapade 3. And we'll see how long it goes, see if we can do number 4. So, The Rants Magazine, Episode 3, At the British Supreme Court. This escapade takes place as Ryunosuke and Sasato visit Lord Strongheart to report on the outcome of Mr. Natsume's trial. I forgot Strongheart's voice at the moment. They find a flustered Inspector Gregson attempting to solve a very taxing problem before his time runs out. Like, I feel like the game should oh, we know you played it, so we don't need to ask you if you don't want to do a spoil. As I said, it's been a month, so we'll see how I remember these voices if I do. 26th of February, 9:17 a.m., the British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice's office. Here we are again. Every time we visit here, the atmosphere in this place seems to get more and more overbearing. Just think, we could be at home with Mr. Sholmes and Iris having a nice cozy breakfast. But we have a duty to report the outcome of the case, especially since we're guests here in Britain. I'm afraid this visit couldn't have been avoided. I suppose not, but is there even anyone here? You could hear a pin drop in this place. It's too solemn for its own good. It is very quiet, isn't it? The only sound is the ticking of the great clock as it keeps perfect time. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. Uh-oh. What was that, I wonder? The usual comforting sound of the clock seems to have been joined by a less comforting shuffling sound today. Tick-tock, tick-tock, what was the croc's name from Peter Pan? Huff, huff. Oh, yeah. You're right. Something's disturbing the rhythmical ticking. It sounds rather like an unfit middle-aged man. Oh, God. Sounds rather like an unfit middle-aged man running from pillar to post clumsily. What do you call it unfit? Oh, Inspector Gregson. What are you doing here? What am I? Is it a flame obvious? 58 seconds remaining, Inspector. We'll have to talk later, sunshine. Good morning, Mr. Lord Strongheart. Wow, he's really looking fierce at his pocket watch today. Seriously. And good morning to you. Business so early in the day? That's not it. That's not it. No. Oh, yes. Well, I mean, it's about the other day. What was the voice I gave this man? We're here to deliver a report, Lord Strongheart, as our dealings with Mr. Natsume are now over. Bigger voice, bigger voice. Ah, yes, the little Japanese man. I've already cast my eyes over von Zeke's report. Pitter-patter, pitter-patter, pitter-patter. I must say the outcome surprised me. I thank you for a job well done. You are too kind, my lord. It's not here! It's not there! And it's not over there either! I hope you don't mind me asking, but what exactly is Inspector doing? He's been hurrying around between the bookshelves, looking beside himself with worry. He's looking for a particular work. The Lion's Pride. Now there's an all-too-familiar title. I'd heard it was a popular tale, so I obtained a copy from the rental library. However, it wasn't able to maintain my interest, so I soon cast it aside. I happened to notice a vacant spot on one of my shelves at the time, so I duly stowed the book there. Unfortunately, I no longer remember where that was. Nope, not there. Not here either. Come on. Where are the lions you're hiding? Are you lions hiding there? The book is due back today, so I've asked Gregson to locate it for me with his investigative prowess. Inside 5 minutes. I must say, I've never seen anyone working so hard to find something. He's like a man possessed. Ah yes, that's because his month's salary is staked upon the outcome. And whose instigation? And whose instigation? Let me guess, this stony-faced lord? And the 5-minute time limit? What's the significance of that? There is none. Just my vulgar, mischievous spirit showing itself, I'm afraid. Oh, by your own admission, right? Ah! I can't. My feet are killing me. In 5 minutes. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up, Inspector. Ah! Which means that next month you will work unpaid and have no days off. No days off? Ah. Wow. Oh, here's the book. There really are just so many books here. It's overwhelming. For some, perhaps. I've purchased every book, new or old, on the subject of law from all over the globe. Would have believed that a few short decades ago, a place like this couldn't have existed. What do you mean, Inspector? When I was a lad, no one ever dreamed of buying books. Oh, I see. Western books are such luxury items, I suppose, with their leather covers and fancy bindings. Gutenberg Press? Ah, that's not it. Oh. There was a tax on paper, see? On paper? Yeah, I mean, it was abolished about 30 years back. No, but it used to be the case. There was tax levied on any kind of paper. So obviously that meant most folks couldn't afford to buy any books at all. Huh. So that's why places like the rental library mentioned before came into existence, Lord Strongheart. It's weird when she hits her hands and not a book. Indeed, vestiges of the paper tax system, you could say. The general public consider books as items for hire. London is home to a vast lending library of some 3.5 million books. Billion. You couldn't hope to read all that even if you were incarnated 10,000 times. Even I would choose to rent a book rather than purchase it, if I knew I would read it infrequently. The subject tax is actually a surprise us already in the last few days. It came up in Mr. Natsume's trial. It seems that the window in his room was filled in due to some kind of window tax. That'd be true. Fortunately, the window tax was abolished here for some 40 years ago. Sadly, in the East End in particular, many windowless houses remain. Britain's always had a bit of a habit of taxing stuff. Whatever they can tax, they tax. Salt, sugar, tea, coffee, you name it. Candles, beards. Wait, sorry? What was the last one? Did you say beards? Yep, the beard tax. Never heard of it? Never! Why should people have to pay money just because they let their facial hair grow? You may well ask. I suppose it's because it makes them look self-important. The Naruhodos will have a strict family policy of no facial hair, I think. You can relax. The beard tax was confined to the annals of history long ago. Even so, it's clearly something the British really love. Paying taxes, I mean. Paying them. You've got that back to front, sunshine. But you can't deny you've had a lot of funny taxes over the years. You never find anything like that in Japan. Would you, Mrs. Sato? In actual fact, I'm afraid to say that you would, Mr. Naruhodo. What? No, you don't mean... Surely there's never been a window tax in Japan. No, but there have been similarly obscure taxes. For example, in the Edo period, There's a frontage tax. What was that? It was a tax not on windows, but on the entrance to properties. Oh, that's mean! The larger a property's entrance was, the greater the tax that was levied on it. Even today, some mansions survive with extremely narrowed entrances due to that old form of taxation. I had no idea. So you Japanese are as twisted as us Brits. But we never had a beard tax. I mean, that's really going a step too far. Well now, that's not true. I'm not aware of any taxes for beards, at least. What do you mean, at least? Well, rather than tax them, the shogunate did once prohibit them outright. The ruling class prohibited beards? It was called the Great Beard Prohibition. It was an Edo period edict. But why did the powers that be want to ban beards? Because it makes people look self-important? Just an idea. The boss is right there. It would seem that rulers in the East and the West have had very similar ideas over the years. There have been other unusual taxes in our history, even in our current Meiji period. There have? For example, though it was before either of us were born, there was a rabbit tax. There was a tax on those adorable fluffy creatures? Like the one who makes mochi sweets on the moon? Yes, and it was extremely large tax too. The government demanded extraordinary sums of money. This just gets stranger and stranger. What was the reason for that bizarre tax then? Well, after Japan opened its doors to the world, there was an unprecedented rabbit boom in the Meiji capital. A boom? Yes, keeping rabbits became largely popular. And new species were traded at exorbitant prices. People were even swindled out of all their money for exotically colored rabbits. Like colored chicks, I suppose? Hard to imagine, though. Rabbits are so timid and quiet. Who'd have thought one could bankrupt you? So in response to this worrying social vogue, the government imposed a rabbit tax. I suppose they couldn't just ignore the problem. And it worked because the rabbit boom came to an abrupt end. 6 years later, the tax was abolished. Well, I hate to say it about my own country, but Japan is strange. But there's more. After the rabbit tax was abolished then, of course, society reacted by launching straight into a second rabbit boom. Oh dear, the government didn't think that one through, did they? Your ideas about the world are very much altered by the position you hold in society. If you are responsible for the running of the country, you'll feel the need to raise revenue keenly. Without a stable taxation system, the whole country would go down the drain. Well, yes, I suppose so, but some of these taxes... That's precisely why ministers of state use their wiles to invent new and novel ways of taxing the public. Novel ways? Tell me, Mr. Naruhodo, if you were one of my country's statesmen. Me? A British statesman? Yes, what novel tax would you impose? Pray, give us something truly original. Inside 5 seconds. What? Oh, think of something that everyone uses, Mr. Naruhodo, and really squeeze every penny out of the population. That's quite the intense stare. I'm very glad Sasato-san isn't in charge. Your time is up. So, what's your answer? Well... air, maybe? Yes, how about air? An air tax, you say? Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. A truly novel and fiendish idea. Well, everyone has to breathe, so while the population is inhaling air, my government is inhaling money. Blimey, you're a tyrant at heart, eh? A somewhat radical solution to a country's revenue problems, but sadly not an original one. No! You mean to say... Surely not. You mean a tax on air has been imposed in the past? By the way, this music for this moment is ridiculous. It was last century. The finance minister of our neighbor France proposed it. What? If I ever go for a visit, I'm holding my breath. Unsurprisingly, it was strongly opposed by the public and soon scrapped. The minister didn't last long either. Oh dear, although clearly that would have been an unattainable situation. The public at large are a force to be reckoned with. Don't I know it? How about you, Inspector? What new tax would you impose? Let me see. My first thought is a tax on objections. Sorry? Been hearing far too many of them recently in court. There's a particular law I have in mind, as it happens. So I think an objection tax could be very handy. Good to see you don't allow your personal feuds to influence your work in public office. I reckon 5 pence for every objection raised would be about right. A most amusing proposal, Gregson. A most unamusing proposal, my lord. Is that the end of it? No, there's more. Holy crap, there's more. Just dicking around. Well, then I think it's your turn now. Sorry? My turn for what? A report? Why, what else? To locate my missing copy— Oh, no! To locate my missing copy of The Lion's Pride. Oh! It's on one of the shelves in this room. Of that I am certain. Now, I shall give you 10 minutes. And let's take your student stipend on it, Fail to find the book, and you forfeit your next month's payment. Objection! Your time starts now. Oh, and one more thing. I believe you just said the word objection. Kindly leave your 5 pence over there before you begin combing the shelves. This tax is going to be the death of me. Now it ends. That's funny. Did they find the book? Probably not. Alright, time for number 4. Okay, 4 on the floor. Episode 4, in Sholmes' suite. So, it's gonna be them. This fourth escapade unfolds one morning on Baker Street when Iris has prepared breakfast for everyone as usual. But Ryunosuke awakes to find an envelope under his door containing a death threat. Who on earth could have put it there? And why? Alright. Do it. 9th of March, 8:23 a.m., Sholmes' suite. Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, morning, Susie. I'll get breakfast on the table for us all. Mr. Sholmes, morning. Come now, why the long face? Oh, sorry, the thing is, I just had a rather strange envelope posted under my door this morning. With some rather strange things inside? What strange things? Oh, what was it, Wuno? Do I catch a scent of mystery in the air? Nothing so exciting, I'm afraid, Iris. It's just 5 orange pips. I can't imagine what it could possibly— What? Orange pips, Mr. Naruhodo? And 5 of them? What's the matter with you? That's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it? An overreaction? Miss Naruhodo, you don't understand? It's a warning! A notice of imminent danger. To your life! What? To my life? What's the meaning of all this, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, why do you make such an inquiry of me? Because the name on the center was written on the envelope and it was yours. Oh. Yeah, why, Wuno? It says sent by Sholmes in Way of Hell. So my little ploy has been exposed. Well, so be it. Cast your mind back, if you will, Mr. Naruhodo, to the time of our dining last night. Oh yes, Mrs. Sato cooked Japanese food for us. Indeed. In particular, you may recall the final norimaki sushi roll that I was about to savor. That is, before you swooped in with your clacking chopsticks and filched it from under my nose. Oh, I assumed because you left it that you didn't want it. Save the best for last always. It always gets jacked, doesn't it? I'd left it, my dear fellow, because I had planned to enjoy it, That's my very last mouthful. Surely you must have noted my intent by the subtle dilation of my right pupil? The worst thing is when you get your last bite of sushi and it's got fish scales in it. Like, what? Everything was perfect and this is the one? Perhaps a clearer sign would be helpful next time, just an idea. In summary, the post you received earlier is a notice of impending revenge. You should be quaking in your boots. Really? Because I went straight out into the garden and planted them. I'm hopeful we may grow some exotic fruit. There's no point sending a notice of impending revenge if the person you sent it to doesn't know what it is. Well, I knew, of course, because I've read this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. On sale now in all major London... What is this? On sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews. Oh yes, of course. It's finally been published, hasn't it? I hear it's selling very well. It is. 12 short stories in one volume. I've earned a lifetime spending money already. And it has further bolstered my name. In fact, only the other day, a Bohemian king sought to engage my services. Really? That's extraordinary. Of course, the gentleman persisted with some pretense about being a fishmonger for the duration. Ha! But only a fool would presume to be able to deceive my eyes with such a charade. So how did you know that he was a king, then? Why, there is no mystery, my dear fellow. A distinct smell of fish accompanied by the man's lowly apparel. And though he tried to hide it, the left side of his mustache quivered in a quite manifest manner. What? Oh, Mr. Sholmes. That's simply brilliant. Having neatly resolved the case for the man, I was sent a quantity of fresh cod as a mark of his appreciation. I think perhaps you shouldn't discount the possibility that he actually was a fishmonger. Ah, is that it? Can anyone else smell burning? Oh yes, you're right. And look, smoke! I think maybe... Fire! Fire! There's a fire everywhere. Really? A fire? We must all leave at once. Everyone out of the building. No, wait, I have to go back to my room first. Are you deranged? If you're not asphyxiated by the smoke, the flames will burn you to death. But my Daruma doll! I can't let my Daruma doll burn! It means too much! Drat, sorry, but I'm going to make a dash for it upstairs. Oh, Warner, you're so funny. There's no time for jokes, Iris. Go, quickly, get out of here. But there is no fire. Is there, Howie? Huh? What a delight to see that ploy enacted in the flesh. I wouldn't have dared to dream I should be so lucky. Mrs. Sato? Indeed, indeed. Indeed it was a ploy. A devilment engineered by this puckish spirit. It was all a trick? But why? It is a simple experiment of the mind, Miss Naruto. When his life is threatened, the fellow is compelled instinctively to protect that property to which he attaches matching importance. And after your own wife, Uno, the most important thing to you seems to be a Daruma doll. Let's not dwell on that, shall we, Iris? So, you knew all along, Miss Sato, that it was a trick? Yes, of course. The very ploy is described in this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. On sale now, on sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews. Not again! I have used that device quite satisfactorily in the past to solve a case. Oh yes, it was a great success, wasn't it? But then it became something of a habit, didn't it? You started yelling fire at every coin scene. In the end, people started to pay no attention to it at all. Yes, and that's true. There was a time when I was known as the Sholmes who cried wolf. I think there's a lesson to be learned in there somewhere. But sadly my little ploy failed to yield results this time. Iris was utterly unmoved. What do you mean? Well, I was anticipating that Iris would immediately expose her secret hiding place. The location of the nest egg she must have cached somewhere in this room. Nest egg? You think Iris has some secret savings? Why, naturally. The book is selling like hotcakes, after all. It is a simple deduction, indeed, to conclude that the profits must be concealed here within these walls. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you in need of money? I bet I know what it is. It's that new microscope that's going on sale, isn't it, Howie? What else? I have such a strong desire to own one, yet my purse is 1 pound too light. And as no offer of a loan has been forthcoming, I've been forced to resort to an alternative stratagem. Hee-hee, sorry, Howie, but I'm not falling for that. Not coming from the Sholmes who quiet wolf. How vexing. You really shouldn't be trying to steal a 10-year-old's savings, you know? My book is full of little tricks like that, you see? The envoy of the great detective. Except that in this case, both the orange pips and the fake fire fell on a little flat, didn't they? Oh, I have plenty more tricks up my sleeve. Take, for example, the case of the Boscombe Valley mystery. I'm already filled with dread, just from the title. It is a tale of extraordinary skill on the part of the great detective, the skill of tracking. Gonna sneeze. Tracking? When I arrived at the scene of the crime in the eponymous valley, there were footprints everywhere. But my eye was immediately drawn to one set in particular. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, your detective instincts are truly remarkable. As you know, my dear madam, no detail, no matter how small, escapes the scrutiny of these eyes. So I tracked my quarry, following the trail of his footprints all the way to the man's place of residence. It led you directly to the culprit's house? What a triumph! You misunderstand. It led me directly to my own house, my dear fellow. Huh? But the footprints were, in the final analysis, those made by my own shoes. I had left here for Boscombe Valley as soon as he received the telegram about the case, you see. And then he followed his own trail straight back here to Baker Street. Huh. Now, Iris, please, you make it sound almost humdrum, but I assure you it is no easy feat. Tracking of this nature is a skill possessed only by the great Herlock Sholmes. You're right, it really is extraordinary. Quite so. Extraordinary is the word. Let it be the last on the subject. Anyway, needless to say, I subsequently went on to solve the case with various other deductions. Yes, it's the various other deductions that I'm interested in. Ah, well, you shall have to read the book then. I'm sure Iris has penned it with her usual flourish. Oh, absolutely. I put an ingenious spin on the great detective's exploits. It must have been very ingenious to make this man sound even remotely credible as a detective. Wait, is that... Does it smell like something's burning again? We've had enough devilment for one day, Mr. Sholmes. Put your spirit to bed. Is that a euphemism? I assure you, this has nothing to do with me or my spirit. Oh, the voice changed. What? Oh no, the smoke is getting thicker. You mean, it's not a trick this time? There really is a... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Ah! Mrs. Sato, where are you going? Stand aside, Mrs. Naruhodo. Ah, easy, Mr. Sholmes, what are you? Smash! Mr. Sholmes? Why did he just check that bust of Napoleon on the floor? Yeah, I was wondering if that was Napoleon over there. Oh, look at that, in amongst all the broken porcelain. Coins! Sovereigns, in fact! Worth a whole pound each! Come, everyone, we must leave at once. Evacuate the building. You fell for it, Hoey. Hook, line, and sinker. Wait, you mean Iris? I certainly wouldn't have guessed that's where you'd hidden it. Do you mean to say that this smoke was... My own pocket spirit needs to come out and play sometimes too, you know? Why wouldn't he just take the bust instead of breaking it? What? Oh, of course. I know what it is, Iris. It's that indoor herb garden set that went on sale last week, isn't it? That's what you're after. I want one so desperately, but I'm £4 short. Oh my god. And even though you told me you didn't have any money to spare before, I knew you had a secret nest egg somewhere in this room. Oh, you've outwitted me again. You really shouldn't let yourself be outwitted by a 10-year-old child, you know? So, thank you for the loan, Hoey. Oh, but wait. What's the matter? Where's Susie? She's disappeared. She ran off up the stairs before, didn't she? Huh? Oh! What are you all still doing in here? We have to evacuate. It won't be long before the fire is... Ah. Sorry, Susie. Children will get up to mischief once in a while, you know, but it's all still perfectly harmless. Harmless, maybe, but oh so devious. Is that where it ends? That's where it ends, alright. I figured we see what Susato was looking for, but alright. I know it's still going. Oh well. At least nobody was hurt. Napoleon was. Apart from Napoleon and my secret hoard. Now tell me, Mr. Sato, what is it that you went so fleet-footedly to fetch? Sorry? Oh, no, nothing. This is just this is nothing. Susie, that's your notebook detailing all Buenos Trois, isn't it? It's bulging at the seams. What? Ah, a testament to the various people you've helped over the past months. Mrs. Sato, Well, I am your judicial assistant after all. I would do anything to ensure the safety of these records. Even risk my life if necessary. I mean, it's very important to me. It's like a diary of everything we've achieved together. I'm getting all teary-eyed now. Yes, in stark contrast to a certain someone who would have fetched his Daruma doll, I must say. Try to look up what Darumas are about. They're those redhead things. Is that for 4? I assume it's it, because we got the load thing happening. Alright, next time will be number 5. So... this was after case 4. And this, of course, has to be after case 4. They just completely skipped case 3. Okay, interesting. So next time will be these. Oh, Natsume again! What? Alright. And then them. Oh, great. I gotta remember what his voice is. Great. He has like 8 voices. Ah! Okay, let's see here. Racism. How to channel Von Zeke's racism. Racist voice, racist voice, racist voice. But not hillbilly racist voice. My Nipponese friend. No, without also just becoming Sholmes' voice. Because Jinx's whole thing was that it should be like a bored noble voice. It's like, my Nipponese friend. I hate you. So much. So very much. Now let me go drink this wine. Yes. Okay, whatever, that could be it. Okay, let's go. That's it for now. Next time will be 5 and 6. So, I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.